Good evening. Welcome you to our city council meeting for the city of Saginaw. We're going to start off with a prayer for those that would like to take part. Please do so, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we ask you to come down into this meeting today, strengthen us, give us the right direction and the meaning. Let this council panel, along with the workers, do what's best for the citizens of Saginaw. And we ask these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Forbes.
Present.
Councilmember Bryant is excused. Councilmember Bench.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Present.
Councilmember Scherzer.
Present.
Councilmember Millen.
Present.
Walls.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
And Mayor Clark is excused. We have 7 members present and 2 excused.
Good evening again. Because this is a public meeting, we ask that all members of the audience please remain quiet and refrain from speaking, interrupting, and otherwise disrupting the meeting. At this time, I'm asking everybody to put their phones on silent, please. People on council, turn them phones down. As well as your computer, turn the voice down, please. Do we have any announcements?
Yes, thank you. I do have a couple. The city's waste convenience station is open the second Saturday of the month, and it's open from 8 a.m. till 12 o'clock noon. And it's located at the Public Service Building off of the Holland Avenue entrance. City residents may dispose of items such as building materials, recycling for glass, plastic, and paper. The next collection day will be this Saturday, March 9th. Also, daylight savings time, it takes effect on Sunday, March 10th. Remember to turn your clocks ahead by 1 hour. And the next city council meeting is the Students' Government Day. And it's scheduled for Monday, March 18th, and that meeting begins at 12 o'clock noon. Mayor Pro Tem, that takes us to public hearings.
Calling for objections?
No, Mayor
I'm
Pro
sorry.
Tem, would you like to read the rules of the public hearing?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's right. No, you're fine.
The purpose of a public hearing is for the members of the public to address the council as a whole, for the council to receive information from speakers for consideration regarding specific actions being requested of us. Speakers must limit their remarks to the subject of the public hearing. Please begin by stating your name, address, and your relationship to the subject of the public hearing. The first speaker will be considered the main presenter or the designee representative, and you will be allowed 10 minutes to speak. Other speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Because it's a public hearing, public hearings are not question and answer periods or sessions. I'm sorry. Speakers only ask general questions to council for consideration, not questions directed to the individual council member, city staff, or audience. We're now at public hearing.
Yes, we do have one this evening, and it's for the 2019-2020 Community Development Block Grant Program, the Emergency Solutions Grant Program, and Home Investment Partnership Program.
Hey, good evening. My name is Christopher White, 1345 Bay Street here in Saginaw, and I'm the co-chairman of the Human Planning Commission. So I thank you for the honor of standing before you this evening and sharing with you the recommendations from the Human Planning Commission for the various grant programs. In November of 2018, the CDBG staff received applications for emergency shelter grants, emergency solution applications, and it was compiled into a blue book. It was a smaller book. I'm sure all of you received one, or you're supposed to receive one. And we used that in our deliberations for the interview process as we thought about and discussed how these programs could benefit the city. Later on in December, we received applications for the CDBG and the home grant process. We deliberated those in January. That was compiled in a much larger book. I don't know if you remember that one. It was about 450 pages or so, and we made use of that as well when we did our deliberations. All of the interviews were 15 minutes. We were very stringent about that. We did not give preferential treatment to any one of the programs, whether they were asking for $4,000 or $250,000. Everybody got 15 minutes, and that was divided into a presentation and then questions that were directed from the commission to the presenters. And after everything was done, we did our deliberations, and some of the council members were there for some of that anyway. And we came up with a recommended proposal that you've received in your packet, the recommended apportioning of the grant funds for 2019 and 2020. So along with that, you also have a narrative that was provided to you. I just want to share with you a couple of things from the narrative, not very much. But the total established and estimated CDBG funds for 2019 and 2020 would have totaled $2.142 million. That's what we expect this coming year to be allocated to the various projects that have come before us with applications. But the funds that were requested totaled $3.2 million. So we did have a number of things that we needed to talk about and how best to utilize those resources for our community so that we have a very diverse dissemination of those resources. In addition to the resources that the applications that have come from previous years, we also had some new activities that we wanted to consider as well that asked for approximately $295,000. As I continue, I would like to acknowledge publicly, even though everybody's not here, acknowledge the different commissioners that served over this last year. Darlene Carpenter, I don't believe is here this evening. Anna Hidalgo, is she here? No, she's not. Okay, I thought I heard somebody say that. Bonnie Arnst, Rick Longoria isn't here. That's why you have to listen to me. Chris Traverse, Suzanne Smakuska, Jim Wagner is here. Leola Wilson, I didn't see her, and then Deb. Oh, Leo. Hello, darling. How are you? All right. Leola is here, and then Deb Melkonian is here as well. So on behalf of the Planning Commission, I thank you for the time that you've given to me and for the opportunity to do this work. I know that those of you who weren't able to make any of our meetings, that's okay. We know that you appreciate the work that we do, just as we reciprocally appreciate the work that you do on behalf of our community. That's all I have for you, and I think that I was told that it would be appropriate to receive other questions or comments that you may have about our work.
Does any council person? Not just yet.
That does not happen.
Not just yet.
That does not happen. So that's incorrect. Okay.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Okay. That's the presentation.
Calling for any objections?
No, you call for more comments?
Calling for objections or comments? Calling for objections or comments? Please come to the mic and state your name and your address.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council Member, City Manager. I'm Mary Ellen Johnson, address 1226 North Michigan, 48602. I'm with Saginaw County Youth Protection Council. I want to thank you for the support you've provided. You support our teen parent shelter and our interlink shelter. Right now, we have 2 little ones in our teen parent shelter whose lives were very chaotic. They have some significant special needs, And with your funding, we were able to get them into safe shelter, work with the mom, and both kids now are in a diagnostic classroom making progress. And that's real important because they're 2 and 4 years old. And if we can resolve those issues early on, then those kids have a much better chance when they enter kindergarten to really excel and reach their full potential. In our Interlink shelter, we have a young man whose family is defined as being chronically homeless. They have not had a home of their own for a really long time, and he has struggled. He is in our long-term shelter now. He has his own bedroom, and he has a lot of support, and he's going to Arthur Hill and doing really well. And the teachers there provided him with some really wonderful Christmas gifts. Staff were concerned because he was wearing the same clothes to school every day, and they were concerned that he'd be teased. And so the community rallied around him. But those are just 2 examples of who we serve. Could not do the work without your support, because your support allows us to bring in a great deal of federal funds. So thank you. Thanks for caring about our kids, and we appreciate the partnership.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, city manager, city clerk, members of the audience here and at home. My name is Bill Scheiberger, and I live in the city on the east side at 1137 Howard Street. And I'm here to speak as a citizen and also as a bus rider, a longtime bus rider. And what I am in support of and like to have the support of the council is there was a proposal made by STARS for bus pads, bus shelters, and benches at the bus pads. And for the members of the audience and others, a bus pad is basically just cement sidewalk concrete. It's about 6 feet wide, and it goes between the sidewalk and the curb. So it's easier for anyone to board the bus in all different type of weather, and especially in the snow. And they're sorely needed. There's between 400 and 500 bus stops in the city limits, and probably only 10% of those have bus pads. I have to congratulate the city engineering. When they redid Michigan Avenue and Woodbridge, they did put some bus pads in. And I believe it would increase bus ridership, and also people from falling down. I've seen many older women, older than myself, in their 80s or so, climbing over snowbanks to get on a city bus and almost slip and fall. STARS is the first time they've ever applied for a community development block grant. I believe it's they asked for 108,000. I would like to see more, because this is the first time in the history of public transportation that STARS, being only their 25th anniversary this year, has applied for a community development block grant for bus pads, shelters, and benches. And we've had transportation. I guess I used up my 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more comments, objections, or comments? Any more objections or comments? Need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. We'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you so much.
Okay, Mayor Pro
Madam Clerk.
Tem. Yeah, we are now at public input.
Once again, welcome to all of those who have signed up to address council tonight. Thank you for sharing with us your thoughts and your input. Hearing from the citizens we represent is very important to us. We ask that you speak slow and clear so we don't miss what you have to say. When called to the podium, please introduce yourself, state your home address. Let us know if you are speaking solely for yourself or on behalf of a group. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes, which the clerk will take time of. We ask that your presentation be courteously and respectful to the members of the public present, to the citizens watching on SGTV, and to the council so that we can give serious considerations to your concerns. All follow-ups will be addressed by city staff. Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Mayor
Clerk.
Pro Tem. Our first speaker is Tarsha Works.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, City Manager, City Clerk, and all the audience that's present here on this evening. My name is Tarsha Works, 2120 James Avenue, Saginaw, Michigan. I'm here on behalf of ACO, which is a nonprofit organization here in the city of Saginaw, and I'm speaking on behalf of our third annual Black Tie Gala and silent auction that I'm inviting everyone to, the City Council. It's on March 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Temple Theater, and I do have flyers as well. This program is actually yearly to support our endeavors and our initiative on what we're doing for our youth ages 7 through 17 here in the community. We have a very dynamic program. We have been tutoring the students. We have been providing mentorship one-on-one, and basically the purpose of our event is to move into our own building one day soon. But we would like your support. We would like you to come out. We will have a silent auction, and all proceeds are going to help benefit the programming only, to help increase the awareness of entrepreneurship with our children and teach them new skills. Thank you.
Thank you. You said you had some handouts. Can you pass them to the clerk?
Yes.
She'll make sure that we get them.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Bill Scheiberger.
Like a bad check, I'm back again. Part 2. Again, I wanted to finish up talking about the STARS Community Development Block Grant. I was a rider. I didn't have a truck by choice for 7 years, so I basically, in the daytime, depended on STARS unless people gave me rides at night. And so I'm fairly knowledgeable of the bus system and their employees. I wanted to cite one employee. I just call him Tony the Tiger. He served 29 years as a school bus driver in the city of Saginaw, and then he decided to come to work for STARS. Very knowledgeable man. Some of you might know him. But anyway, I believe, again, the bus pads has been an overlooked issue going all the way back to 1863, I guess, when they had sidewalks. And they never have, except recently with new construction of streets, they have never put in these bus pads where there are heavily traveled bus stops. And again, I believe that will increase ridership. And on the idea of public transportation here in Michigan, there's a lot of prejudice toward public transportation. Both people that ride the bus, in my case, a lot of people thought I had a bad driving record or drunk driving, and they just took my driving privileges away from me. Well, that wasn't the case. But anyway, the bus pads are definitely needed, and I hope STARS continues to apply for community development block grants instead of some of the grant money goes to bus ramps where they cut the curb on intersections. I think this money would be well spent. And that's all I have to say. Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our final speaker this evening is Heather Boyd.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Heather Boyd, 1802 Barnard Street, Saginaw. I'm here on behalf of the Saginaw Community Garden, the H.M. Boyd Community Garden on the southwest side of Saginaw. I am the founder and president of the H.M. Boyd Community Garden. It's located at 1417 South Hamilton Street in Saginaw. As you may know, we're having an event, so I thought that I would come here and talk to you about it, but I also thought I would mention some of our successes from last year. So you have our brochure, and inside of our lovely brochure, it talks about the garden and our mission. So other than the fact that we strive to give fresh fruits and vegetables to children in Southwest Saginaw, which you may know is a food desert, we also are aiming to educate families about nutrition, create a positive neighborhood environment, and turn a piece of property that once was covered in trash into a beautiful place that families can spend time. We have successfully built 17 raised beds and many other structures on the property. Last year in our free farm stand, with help of local community gardeners and local farmers, we donated over 1,000 pounds of fresh produce to the community. You can feel free to donate produce yourself if you garden. Anyone is allowed to take produce from the free farm stand, and anyone is allowed to put produce in. Our community garden is one of the very few community-driven, completely free gardens that exist. So anyone is allowed to come and garden with us and volunteer, and anyone is allowed to take our items for free because it's a completely community-driven project. We would like to thank the Ezekiel Foundation, the SEIU, Saginaw Community Foundation, MSU Extension, and Southwest Saginaw Neighborhood Association, who have supported us and given us a lot of support throughout the year. And we would like to thank Next Year Automotive, who put a very large amount of time and effort into the garden last year and built this beautiful garden for our community. I would like to invite you to the Saginaw Community Garden Workshop. The workshop is March 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Bradley House Theater. That's on 403 South Jefferson Ave. All gardeners and gardening enthusiasts are invited to join us, and participants will learn proven strategies to create strong community gardens or other agricultural programs. The workshop will have 2 main speakers, and it'll be lovely. I hope you can join us.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, that takes us to the remarks of council.
Council, remember that you only have 3 minutes is your limit. We'll begin tonight with Ms. Scherzer.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I do want to say thank you to everyone who came in today to give some public input. It is great to hear about the many things that are going on in the community, and good to see my soar in the back row. Excuse me. Prior to council meeting, some of us on council, well, actually, all of us, got to tour Delta College, and wow, I'm really excited to see that building open up and to see what it brings to the downtown community. It's absolutely gorgeous. The view is just amazing. I do want to say congratulations to Kareem Bowen. I don't know if anyone tuned in last night at 6 p.m., but he got his, well, he is on the air on our local KISS 107.1, and it's called Straight Talk. It's every Sunday at 6 o'clock, and he's talking about news, highlights, and great things in the Great Lakes Bay region and right here in Saginaw. So if you get a chance, tune in next week. This Saturday, there's a lot of things going on. There's a health fair at Zion Missionary Baptist Church, and it's hosted by my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta, and Zion Quality of Life Ministries. It's from 9 a.m. to 1. Please come out and support. Free food, and a great way to get involved and get your health in order. But also this weekend is Books for Breakfast with the Read Association. That is at Hunger Solutions Center. Starts at 9 a.m. $3 will get you pancakes, kid activities, and every kid will get a free book. So please bring your kids out and go get breakfast and then come see us at the health fair. That is all that I have. I just want to say, make sure you check on the elderly. It is back to the cold weather, and make sure you're clear. If we get some more snow, hopefully we don't, make sure there's 3 feet on each side of your fire hydrant. That is really important. So that is all that I have.
Thank you. Now, we new at this. Do I speak or do I send it over?
Send it over.
You're the mayor, you get to go last. Lucky you.
You have to ask. Yes, Miss Annie.
All right, well, make sure I'm not out of turn. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to our public speakers for being here tonight. It's good to hear from you guys. And thank you, Mr. Scheiberger, for your support for STARS. We know that you've been a long time rider, and you've always been a big champion of theirs, and we always appreciate hearing from you. I would also echo what Councilwoman Scherzer had to say about the tour at Delta College. I was saying to the manager that it's just hard to believe that, at one point we were, lobbying to get it built here, and it was up in the air and we didn't know. And I think he said it was November of 2013 that he made his first presentation. So to finally be, standing on the second and third floor of that building is very exciting. And it's just so obvious, like what a fantastic choice they made. It just perfect fit. So I'm very excited to see what happens with our downtown as that continues to progress. I'd also like to thank our Human Planning Commission for all their hard work and time that they put into delegating, dwindling dollars. We know that every time we get our CBDG funding allocated to us, we always know that it's going to be less than last time. And it's never an easy task, and it's certainly a delicate balance between continuing to support people that we know, have a positive track record, and also making sure that we're funding people who are new upstarts and have, new ideas, and giving them an opportunity to get started as well. So we really appreciate the work and the effort that you guys put into making sure that these programs are funded well. I'd also like to thank the staff, our CBDG staff. I know that you guys are working hard all year round, but this is your busy season, and we certainly appreciate you guys as well. And also thank you to our recipients. If we didn't have you guys coming to us, to provide these services, Interlink and, some of the other programs that we have listed off here tonight that we'll be considering funding for. These are the most vulnerable people in our community. And when we campaign, we talk about the things that we want to do, and this, allocating these dollars through CBDG is really a way that us council members can follow through and, put our money where our mouth is when it comes to backing the very important, programs that, we talk about. Needing to support, needing to see more of in the city. So we just really appreciate, that we have these dollars and we have these programs to fund, and we have these good people who are working to make this place. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
It'd be lovely.
Ms. Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to also thank our public speakers this evening. I've got the community garden on my calendar, the workshop, and I know that community gardens are a lot harder than they sound, and so I congratulate Heather again on all of her hard work and her well-deserved success. I'd like to thank the Human Planning Commission as well, and the staff for their hard work reviewing the proposals for the block grant. I know that those are really tough decisions and that there are lots of really worthy programs. There are a few positions available on this very important committee, And I encourage our guests tonight and those that are watching on SGTV to consider applying for these openings through the clerk's office. I'd also like to thank Mayor Pro Tem Moore for inviting all of us to the MML Weekender last weekend. I was really pleased to be able to attend. It was a wonderful program, and I'm looking forward to continuing my education and advocacy with MML in the future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ostash.
Okay. Well, good evening, and once again, too, thank you for everybody that came tonight and speak. The Human Planning Commission really does put a lot of work into this. I attended almost all the meetings. One night I was ill, so I couldn't make it, so thanks for everybody. And also thanks for the speakers that came tonight and just kind of gave us some input. It's always good to hear the stories that kind of go along with that program. Something else I wanted to mention too, thank you to Mayor Pro Tem. We attended MML this weekend. We continue our training as City Council, and it was kind of exciting because 6 of our 9 members were there. So that was a nice event, and some training on leadership and financial management. But I also want to call out too, I had the opportunity to attend the Saginaw Basin Land Conservatory Osprey Awards, and that was a really good event. And just Brianna Kennedy, she got an award for Volunteer of the Year, but it was really nice to see that Saginaw Riverfront received an award too, and some recognition for a lot of the work that they've done with blight reduction and Janet Nash Park and just other involvement that they are involved with on the riverfront. And then also too, our Saginaw's First Ward Community Center was there. That this is an organization that's been around for like 90 years. And they just were recognized just for a lot of their work that they've done with the DNR Summer Youth Employment Program, and also just all the positive effects that they're making with people's lives in the city. So congratulations to those organizations in our city and for everything that you do, because it really does make an impact. Also, Heather Boyd, thanks for coming, and thanks for bringing a calendar, because now I have some dates that I can go off of. As you and I have spoke before, I do have an interest of coming down to your garden and maybe even volunteering this summer, but just coming down and getting an idea, because I've heard some great stories from you, and we've had a lot of good dialogue on that, so thank you for coming on that as well. And Mayor Pro Tem, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Balls.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to the city council meeting this evening too. I'd like to do a special thank you to the Human Planning Commission for all the work that you guys do. You know, we got a lot of volunteers in the city of Saginaw, and some people, and the majority of the ones that are doing the work for the Human Planning Commission probably got 4 or 5 other things that they do, they volunteer to. So thank you for your volunteerism. Ms. Works, I'd like to thank you too for the job that you're doing with the youth too. I'm a youth advocate myself, and we can never not do enough to help our youth out. So thank you very much. Yes, and we did visit Delta College. At 4 o'clock, the city council went down and visited the brand new Delta College. It's not quite finished yet. They think they're going to be done in a couple of months, but I don't know how, but it's beautiful in there. It's huge. And I think it's going to really a dynamic plus for the city of Saginaw to have our students right downtown Saginaw. I'm going to be a little bit concerned for some of the students who are going to be there because they got some beautiful views, and I hope they don't be daydreaming looking at the city because they got some beautiful windows and things like that in that area. So one of the things I was talking about and have been talking about is skilled trades, and they are going to have an introduction to skilled trades there. So I'm looking forward to that because we need to get our kids involved in skilled trades. Some of the most rewarding jobs that you can do, and we don't have enough people to do them. So everybody here needs to encourage our young kids to get involved with some type of skilled trade work. It's really rewarding, and the pay is decent too. I happen to be a pipe fitter myself, and I think my grandkids love the fact that Papa have extra money sometimes. But so we got to get involved in that. So everybody here, we need to tell our community about Delta College coming downtown because we need to keep it sustainable so that it can stay there. So everybody need to be involved in that. So other than that, I don't really have too much more to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Couple different items here. Last week, they topped out the steel work at the new adult detention center for Saginaw County. And they're a little bit behind schedule, but they think if the weather gets a little nicer in the spring, they can catch back up. So that's coming along pretty good. 2 Fridays ago, I attended a Taste of Soul at the First Ward Community Center, and their high standards of their food continued. The catfish was excellent, and there was a performance from the Saginaw High, I believe it was Soul Choir, and it was included some very talented soloists, so that's always an enjoyable event over there. I also was part of the tour of the Delta College building, and one of the things they mentioned was they are on track for a gold level designation for the sustainability of the project due to its energy efficiency and the recycling of the materials during construction. They separate everything they have, metals, cardboard, even the wallboard gets recycled. And lastly, I want to thank our public speakers. Also, I do want to highlight the H.M. Boyd Community Garden. When that first opened, I mentioned that here at council, but what most strikes me about it, it's a perfect example of how the partnerships between different groups here in Saginaw strengthen the city. It's not one person, it's everyone working together. And that's my comments for this evening, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Good evening. I'd like to thank all of our public speakers as well. Human Planning Committee, you know you got kudos. Whether you know it or not, council, my fellow council persons, they actually stay here late to make decisions. And it is part of your charge to be a part or to come in here. So next year, I'm challenging all of us to get one day, pick whoever you want and come in here so that you understand what the process is like. For those that came out, the council people, I thank you. You didn't have to do it, but you did it. So for that, you get a kudos. For all of my public speakers, thank you so much. It is you who tell us what we need to do. Understanding, once again, I work for you. You don't work for me. Okay? So if you don't tell me, I can't try to help fix something that's broke, if it's broke. Heather, kudos. You know I know. If you don't really know where she is, she's in the backdrop of SEIU in the back part. If you go through there, they now have benches, picnic tables, the whole 9 yards along with the beds. It is a beautiful sight. It is. I will be out of town, but I will get back with you, and you know whatever you need from me, you can get, okay? 2 things. I want to thank Mr. Shibley, Heather, as well as Ms. Works. Ms. Works, I encourage all of us to participate, if we can, to try to go to her black and white ball. I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm trying to work everybody into the schedule that I got now because it's starting to be tedious. On March the 16th, Mr. Samples, who has I'm So Saginaw 989, is having his first appreciation dinner at Anderson Enrichment Center. It is free. He just asked you to buy a t-shirt. T-shirts don't cost that much, and where can you go get a meal at for a t-shirt? So I'm encouraging everybody to go out and support those 2 activities. You've heard from fellow councilmen about things that are going on in the city. On March the 16th, the Saginaw Public School will be having a cook-off at Willie E. Thompson. It starts at 10 o'clock. These are the students. This is not parents. These are the students. I had the opportunity of being a judge, and I plan to be there and hope and pray they don't have anything hot, because I don't eat hot food. But if I have to sample it just so that I can get them through, then that's what I plan on doing. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That takes us to the reports from the manager.
Thank you, and first I would also like to thank the Human Planning Commission and also the staff that works on block grant, Community Development Block Grant Program. All this stuff that the Vice Chair mentioned, the books, that's all done by staff ahead of time, so they do a lot of coordination even beyond what the Human Planning Commission does, so thanks to both groups for all the work they do on that. The Saginaw Future Annual Awards was on February 22nd. I know some council members Several companies were recognized for their work in business expansion or attractions. 35 companies in Saginaw County were recognized, and of those, 16 were in the city of Saginaw, and those city businesses represented approximately $7.5 million of investment and 410 jobs created or retained in 2018. So I wanted to just commend them for that. Most of those projects, they're companies and as well as organizations. The Road Commission was on there as well, but the Saginaw Future helps most of them out in some way. So congratulations to the companies in Saginaw Future as well. I'd also like to thank Delta College, as several council members mentioned. We did have a tour of their facility today, and that has been a long process for the city. As Councilwoman Bench mentioned, we were working on that in the fall of 2013. So we did several presentations to their board, and we also had help from several people in the community to talk to the board as well. And thankfully they did select that zone. There were 3 zones in the city, and I think they selected the right zone. You could see from where it is, how it connects to the public libraries, the Castle Museum, the Dow Event Center, the riverfront, and everyone will get a chance to see that as it opens. And they are planning in June to have an open house for the public, probably sometime mid-June. And they are hoping to coordinate that with the SVRC, as that will be their 1-year anniversary. So I think that'll be a great event for downtown. And hopefully everybody can attend that. I was, one of the things that surprised me, it is a great building. The layout and the design is tremendous, but one of the things that surprised me was they did give us a handout with the classes that they will be having at that facility. There are going to be a lot of classes offered, so we want to spread the word for that. It's an opportunity for students in Saginaw to come downtown and learn. It's a lot more convenient than going to the main campus. Hopefully we can spread that word, and I think Councilman Balls asked when they were going to expand before they're open, but I don't think that is asking too much. I think they will be expanding that site because I think it's a great opportunity for the college and the students, and I think that will fit into their long-term plan to have additional students there. Don't forget our next meeting, March 18th, is Student Government Day, and that meeting is at noon, so hopefully all the council members will be able to attend the lunch. We do have some other tours and interaction with the city set up in the morning, so if that's something you're interested in, I think they start about 8 o'clock, and they are visiting several departments, but they have a lunch at, I believe, about 11 o'clock, so if council members can attend that, that's a good opportunity to sit with the students and talk about your role in the city government. Some of you hopefully noticed, and if not, take a drive by Ojibwe Island. That's another project that we are working on with the Saginaw Basin Land Conservancy. They are clearing out where the channel is between Ezra Rust and the island. So there's a lot of tree removal, brush removal, shrub removal, and they're doing as much as they can in the winter, and I believe they'll be doing additional work there when spring comes. And also, you might have noticed the Riverfront Saginaw street signs going up in the Riverfront District. So that's a project that the Riverfront Saginaw group worked on for some time, and they're all in this area. So they have the Riverfront logo on the street sign now, and I believe most of them are up. City street staff has been doing that and started about a week ago. And I just talked to Mayor Pro Tem this morning about, she mentioned there were lines downstairs. So typically we do have very busy times in fiscal services. Either water is variable. Sometimes we have busier times at the counter. We have 3 cashiers. So many times if there's employees on vacation or someone is out due to illness, that can create a backup, and it's even compounded when it's one of our busy times. But Finance Director Lori Brown is implementing a cross-training program with staff to create a pool of staff who can work in both Treasury and water area. Any SEIU fiscal services staff member may volunteer to be trained as a treasury clerk or utility billing office assistant, and this will provide additional staffing in busy times or when staff is limited due to illness or vacation. That's an innovative step, I think, that will help limited cost to the city and provide better service levels if there are enough volunteers within that group. I think it's a great example of the city administration and the SEIU working together to solve a problem. The Officer of the Month in the Police Department is Officer Terrence Moore, who many of you may know. In his service to the department, Officer Moore strives to be both an effective law enforcement officer and student resource officer working towards the safety and betterment of our city. In his service to the community, he often volunteers his free time for programs where he can mentor and make an impact with the youth of the community that he may not come into contact with as an SRO. As further statement to his generosity, Terrence Moore has made several personal monetary contributions to families in their time of need. So thanks to Officer Moore for his service and congratulations being the Officer of the Month. And finally, many of you may have seen the article, but Covenant is having a pretty significant expansion there in rehabilitation, $40 million project that their board approved. It's a 90,000 square foot facility, so that's a pretty impressive project that they're going to be well. And with that, that concludes the management update.
Mayor Pro Tem, next order of business is the consent agenda.
The agenda has been available at City Hall and on city's webpage and on SGTV channel 191. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda item leaving rules for exceptions.
So moved.
Second?
Do we
I
have
have
it?
an objection. Can I make an exception for number 2, please?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Second, correct?
It was second, yes, by John.
Thank you, John.
Under the.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on. Okay, so now that we've been approved, and is there any discussion? No. And so,
I don't hear any.
okay, so we have no discussion. All those in favor with the exception of number 2, we're doing vote now. I need, right now, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? We had an exception for number 2.
Yes, number 2 is to approve the amendment of the city fee and rate schedule for various departments and divisions. That's Councilmember Forbes.
Now, Jamie.
So this is on page 11, parking violations section. Under late fees, overtime, it should be $30 in red along the right-hand side.
My copy is. My copy is $30 in red next to it.
Okay, point of order. Point of order. So Jamie has a question on the floor. City manager.
I believe she's talking about the late fee section.
Right.
The late fee,
late
not the
fees.
overtime section. The late
The
fee
late fee
section.
overtime.
Oh,
It has
I'm sorry.
15 rather than 30. Just down a
I believe
few
it's
lines.
just a typo.
Make a motion to change that.
Is there a hard copy to refer to? Oh. Okay, so,
So I'd like to make a motion that we make that correction.
oh, okay, I see. Okay, I wasn't even looking at the right line then. So the motion is to correct that to
Yes.
30? Okay.
Also on you. So we approve it now with the necessary corrections.
Yes.
Make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve it with necessary corrections.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to make the necessary corrections for that article. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. We are now at boards, commissions, and committee reports.
I need a motion to approve the reappointment, I'm sorry, of Darlene Carpenter.
Mayor Pro Tem, we're talking about reports.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. Do we have any boards or commission reports?
I have one.
Yes.
I attended the City Planning Commission meeting last week, and it was really neat to hear the details of the mustard seed planned expansion. It's a really wonderful organization. I'm really excited to hear that the City Planning Commission has approved those plans. So it'll be nice to see how it ends up working out. It'll be wonderful. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Madam Clerk.
Okay, next on our agenda is appointment of board and commission members. We do have one, and it's to approve the council reappointment of Darlene Carpenter to the Human Planning Commission with a term to expire January 31st of 2021.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Next is ordinance introductions, and we have one. It's to amend section 14.36, preference for local bidders of chapter 14, finance and purchasing of Title I Administrative Code.
Need a motion to introduce.
So move.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? This ordinance is laid over under the charter provision. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance consideration and adoption. We do have two, and the first one is to amend section 92.08, pyrotechnics, of chapter 92, fire protection and public safety, of Title IX, general regulations.
Need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Our second ordinance tonight is to amend 12.035, Planning Commission of Chapter 12, Boards and Commissions of Title I Administrative Code.
Need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Next is resolutions. Our first one is to approve the home program submission program for 2019-2020.
Need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and support. All those any discussion? I'm sorry.
I had a question. Is this the same one that where the tiny homes went into before? Or maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be asking that right now.
That's correct.
What happened with the tiny homes? Did we build any tiny homes or what? That was in 2017, and then we gave them another grant in 2018-19.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Good question, Councilman Balls. Thank you for bringing that up. In order to build a development such as this, there's more to it than just ordering some 2x4s and some shingles and throwing up some buildings. There's care that goes into where we're going to build them. Is it in a neighborhood where they're going to fit in? We have property to acquire. All of those things are in progress right now. And in fact, we have the property acquisition is in process. We're looking forward to potentially a May-June start date for the first home.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Our next resolution is to approve the Homeless Assistance Program Emergency Solutions Grant Submission Program for 2019-2020.
Need a motion to adopt.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Our third resolution tonight is to approve the Community Development Block Grant Program Submission Program year for 2019-2020.
Need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm finished. Madam Clerk, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
we are now at miscellaneous business.
Is there any other business that we need to handle?
Nope.
Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.